Here with more reaction, former White House Chief of Staff, REINCE Priebus, former White House Press Secretary himself, Fox News contributor Ari Fleischer. Ari, you're smiling. I mean, I'm listening to these answers. Well, the reason we're not COVID testing illegal immigrants is because they're not going to be here very long. We're giving them request forms to show up. They're not even mandatory dates to show up in court. We request you show up on this date, but we're not going to force you to show up. Now, Ari, I have a funny feeling nobody's going to show up.
A funny feeling. You have an accurate feeling. But Sean, today is one of the most distressing, lowest moments I have ever seen in the United States government. Everything that Joe Biden said today about this is not the American way, that this is a tragedy, that this is not how people should act. Everything he said today should have been said about those who are trying to enter America illegally and not about the people who are doing their job and enforcing America's laws. This is a perfect illustration of how the Democrats, led by Joe Biden, are anti-police. Anywhere and everywhere. That's his message today. Don't enforce America's laws. When you see somebody breaking into our country, let them in. He's also saying to police forces everywhere, no more horse patrols anywhere. As anybody's ever been to Bourbon Street, they have horse patrols there. Is that somehow inhumane? The purpose of those patrols is to deter people from coming into the country. The result of Joe Biden's policies is going to invite many more people into the country. This is open borders at its worst, encouraged by the President of the United States.
Just pick a few issues here, REINCE. Okay, now we achieved energy independence for the first time in 75 years. For national security reasons, it's great. We don't have to ask countries that hate us to import oil. We didn't import any oil from Saudi Arabia in the final months of the Trump administration. We don't have to care about what happens in the Straits of Hormuz, where Iran plays a lot of games with the world's oil supply, a third of which comes through there. And then now Joe is begging OPEC to increase production. Why doesn't Joe go back to Trump's policies of energy independence, like he can go back to Trump's policies on the border, like he can go back to Trump's policies on monoclonal antibodies and not abandoning Americans in Afghanistan?
Because they don't want to, because it's not who they are. I don't think they care about sovereignty. I don't think they actually care about borders. This is who they are. And every once in a while, their competency or their incompetency comes to light. You know, you mentioned it before, Joe Biden playing the blame game. He blames the Border Patrol for mistreating illegal immigrants. He blames Trump for the Taliban being in power. He even blames his staff for not calling on certain reporters that he doesn't want to call on. Unlike Trump, he'll just say, I'm not calling on you because I think you're a liar. He just blames other people. Here's my point. He has the opinions on these issues. You know that Biden rescinded, and I just wrote a list of like 10 things in a second during your monologue. He rescinded the wall. He rescinded zero tolerance. He rescinded the Paris Agreement. He rescinded the travel ban. He rescinded Keystone. He rescinded Trump's policy on transgender in the military. They have this view of America that is not the view that most people in this country have. And the problem that Biden has now is that because he ran as this guy of competency, when this mess on the border comes to light, because they don't care if hundreds of thousands of people pour over the border, but every once in a while they got a really bad camera shot and they've got 15,000 Haitians under a bridge, and people start wondering, wait a minute, this guy's not very competent. They see what happens in Afghanistan. 13 service people are killed tragically. Wait a minute, this guy is not competent. And now you have Democrats, which usually don't agree with us on the border or on foreign policy. A chunk of those people are saying, this guy's not competent. That's why his numbers are sinking.
You know, I know a lot of people in the media, Ari, would feign outrage over Donald Trump's mean tweeting. They didn't like it.
Right.
Donald Trump wouldn't have abandoned Americans. He wouldn't have given up energy independence. He wouldn't beg OPEC. Donald Trump wouldn't, you know, we had a 25-year low in terms of illegal immigrants coming into the country. We didn't have a single American killed in Afghanistan in 18 months under his policies. They believed he would kill them. I don't see that deterrent factor with Joe Biden.
No, that's exactly it. Look, Donald Trump was rude when he wanted to be rude. He could be a bull in the china shop, and everywhere he went, he brought a new china shop with him. That's his style. But he caught people's attention, he changed the way we did business, and he was tremendously effective across the board. Lowest poverty rate since 1959. China changing its behavior. No new wars started. That's the result of policy, and it's why I'm a policy-first person. I don't care if Joe Biden tweets or doesn't tweet. It's not what's relevant to how you protect America, enforce America's laws, move America forward. Policy matters. And when it comes to policy, Joe Biden is showing he is not up for the job. His judgment is wrong, and he's a liberal, as liberal as it gets, and everything he's trying to shove through is a left-wing wish list.
Will Donald Trump try and come back? REINCE PRIEBUS.
I think almost certainly he's going to run again. But look, Joe Biden, you become a failure when you start blaming others for your own mistakes. And policy is who you are is right, and the policies of Joe Biden is what will undo him. But yeah, no, Trump's going to run, and we'll have a big race upcoming in 2024. But we'll worry about 2022 next.
That's true. And I will tell you this, I think people will be less concerned about the tweets and more concerned about being competent and actually knowing what day of the week it is. Just my guess.
Matter.
I never would have guessed we'd abandon Americans and that this disaster at the border, I never guessed we'd be begging OPEC to produce more oil. And that's just touching the surface.
Amazing.
Thank you all. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.